Good morning, Academy 55, all those premium members and all everybody else who's watching the recording. David Kahn here on Wednesday, the 18th of September, 2024. It's 5 to 8 in the morning, and we're here looking at the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame. Before we start anything else, let's do this. Okay, so here is how to use our indicators. First, we go to our MT4 or MT5. Make sure you've got the trade assistant running and you've got the risk to reward in purple. So you change it to purple, the lot calc in purple, and you've got that all important 1% risk there. Also, you've got your MT4 template, your Academy 55 template running in the background, and when you want to place a trade, you put it on lines, and then you can reverse it here, make sure all that good stuff works. And I like to keep 2 pips away before you enter the buy. So where it says SL21, this works, by the way, this works on EUR USD. On the US 100 it'll be slightly different, but we'll explain that as when we do go on for that sort of trade. But yeah, make sure you got your risk to reward in purple, your lot calc in purple. I like to have this button here in purple in case I need to close all trades. Next, I'm going to show you. No, you're not evil twins, because we're getting back to it now. Now we are in a buy zone situation. There it is on the 5 minute time frame. We're in a sell zone there at 7:05. So let's see what would have happened if we'd have taken that sell. That would be the sell, and look, the conditions were not good. We would have lost that trade because that's where we would have put our stop loss. And as you can see, too much shenanigans going on. Obviously, that trade would have been a loser. So we'll use that as a precautionary tale. The price has not yet indeed found enough volume in the market and settled down. So therefore, a final confirmation of zones would be a really good thing. And now we're in the buy zone. So the next alert will be a buy. So we will indeed mark that up. A buy will look something like this, keeping 2 pips away, bringing a 2% up to there. So yeah, that's the conditions for a buy, because we just entered into the buy zone. So the next alert is a buy. Adding those confirmations. So we'll put it onto our MT4. Change that around, the conditions, looking for a buy. And noting that the purple line is here. But by the time we get red wave, red trend, price will be around here, hopefully going north for us. So we will indeed take that into account. Nice to see so many people on today. We're going to be patience is the key, and we will act accordingly with that. But we're not near a trade as yet. But that is the scenario for the buy. We've already gone into the buy zone on the 5 minute. See, it's tapped into that buy zone there. We've had great success with these zones. I did check the red flag situation yesterday, actually, but it always pays to recheck. I don't know whether these things get updated. I don't believe they do, but just in case we are, yeah, there's no red flag situations to sort of. But if you were on with me yesterday, we had 4 medium to low flags at 3 o'clock, and that was enough to drive that particular 3 o'clock candle to take me out of a trade. So it's not, you don't take it as red just because they're not a red flag, but it's the only thing we got to go on. So we must treat everything with caution, of course. But how much caution and how much trust do you have in the signals and so on? That's the thing. Right, so this is where we are at the minute. We've been in the buy zone, so we're waiting for a buy. But down here, we have a support and resistance line. We got 4 hourly imbalance to mop up, and they will mop it up at some stage. And we've got another sell zone being created on the 5 minute here, which would be in the way of our buy. And also, as a precaution, 24, that's like an 8 pip gap. It's not really a big enough gap between the two zones for me to really be uber confident in any way, really, about, because you need more than like a 10 to 12 pip gap at least between the zones. Otherwise, it could be like buy zone there, sell zone there, buy zone there. So when we're on the minute, a clear opportunity to get you 2% is not presented. You want the sell zone to be at least up there to give you a bit more of a gap, but a sell zone has indeed appeared there. So we will respect that and put a horizontal ray just there. And so therefore, going down to the minute, guess what I'm going to do? If we do get a buy, I'll be looking at this area here because this is the start of the new sell zone. So I'd want to be protecting my equity at all costs and putting my stop loss to my entry, wherever that may be, and hoping there'll be a volume push to go into the other sell zone up there. But if it doesn't and does turn around in this sell zone and takes me out, so be it. I haven't lost any equity. But we are creating lower highs all the way down. So this is the time of the day when we have directional changes and things happen like that. More at this time of day because London's open now. So we have to bear that in mind. But our Academy 55 strategy keeps us on the right track 70% of the time, because that is our overall win rate is 70% with this. But that means there is 30%. It doesn't. So you have to, you have to weigh that up. So back to the MT4. And where that sell zone is roughly where the purple line is. So that's very cautionary there. Giving it two pips. We got a bit of a faint buy alert there. Did you see that? But I've got to be more cautious. And as soon as that gets to the purple line, or wherever we get in, oh, oh, I know what's. I missed it because I didn't turn that on, the auto trading. Oh, I haven't done as yet. I think what I would like to do is I will wait for the trend line to turn green, which you could do any time now. What's it going to do with this purple line? Is it going to bounce or break? Trend line is green. I'm going to wait for price to get over that purple line, I think, because that is where that sell zone is, if you remember rightly. That's just to remind ourselves. Oh no, sell zone's up there. Kind of glad I haven't got in this now, but although this is still active, it's coming down to sort that imbalance out there. And let's hope it turns around and goes back up again, in which case I'll give it a customary two pips, because it didn't break that purple line. And now I've got a second bite at getting in for a buy if it goes up again. That's where I want to put my stop loss. It's come down to sort out that imbalance there. Now it's sorted out that imbalance on that candle there. Now what's it going to do? Is it going to go sideways? I'm waiting for it to break that purple line, really. If it does that, I'm going to be in for a buy, but not until it does that. If it does that at all, more shenanigans, I think. More sideways movement is sort of what I'm seeing at the moment. Bit unsettled trading at the minute. Not a very good not a very good scene to actually be trading in. Seeing all this nervous volatility here. So a good time just to watch, and hopefully things settle down and get more clearer confirmations. Because like I said before, we have between that zone there, 24 to there, 16, 8 pip move. It's not really good. I don't need to trade. I don't have to trade. And on the 5 minute time frame, see the length of these wicks here, the latest ones. Big indecision going on. So I indeed will not be fraternizing with that. I must admit, I nearly got in. And if it had jumped the purple line there, I would have got in. And indeed, I still might get in because we've got the parabolic style there now. So that's telling me that price has to go up there. But we got a support and resistance line right there. And we got this sell zone there. It's just, there's too many. There's just, I don't feel happy with trading in these conditions. Although it might work. And there's a 70% chance it will work because we have a 70% win rate with all the obstacles I'm seeing in the way there. I'm just not prepared to take that chance until we get a more separation between the zones. Because if we break that, then we got the sell zone there. We won't be getting into the trade till about there. And then we'll be on the sell zone there. And then there's another sell zone. So it's so let's draw this up anyway. So we can't get into the trade until then, at least, because red wave means the green. Then your 2% goes all the way to 1%. is, you got one line there, support and resistance lines across, then the sell zone, then another support and resistance across, and then another sell zone. It's I'm not saying it won't do it. It very well may do it, but I'd be happy to be in a position where I'm paper trading this rather than actually trading it myself. I've done this many times and it's actually worked, which is a great, it's a good mixed feeling because you're glad that it's worked because of the Academy 5 indicator that we know works 70% of the time. But then you think, oh, I wish I took that trade. But your anxieties and all that would be through the roof, or even though I teach you not to have anxieties. But we can see, trade what you see. We can see that price respected that support and resistance line there, as it has done a few times along ahead. So it's there I do it there for a reason. It all depends when the volume comes into the market, which on a lot of occasions it is now. But we haven't seen any evidence of that as yet. But if the volume all of a sudden comes into the market and they decide to go higher, then it will break through that and possibly break through that sell zone and indeed go up to these heights. But we haven't seen any evidence of a volume breakthrough at the moment. And indeed, if we had indeed got into that trade, we'd be stuck in a position where I think, oh, gold. So, and that's all, and part of it is because sell zone, buy zone, very, very close together. Banks have got it's more in their favor than it is in ours because they've got loads of opportunities to just go sideways until such time as they decide what to do with the EUR against the US dollar and take it one way or the other. So it's just a good time to watch and not be depressed or upset or anything like that if indeed this candle zooms right up and hits our 2%. I'd be feeling quite happy really because the Academy 55 strategy has been seen to work. But at the same time, I know that there are so many areas for it to want to turn around, and we're in accumulation. It's just too much of a too risky to sort of contemplate. It's not a smooth flowing thing. So I'm quite happy to just watch this do what it's going to do. And if it does do the 2%, that is a credit to our strategy, our Academy 55 indicators, because now we're entering a sell zone. But now this time of the day is directional, but we haven't seen no direction as yet, although one could fool yourself, yeah, we are, but the reality is we're still in this zone here, the top of that one to that one. I'm quite happy just to watch. And if anything, once it's swept that past these sell zones, ready to take a sell, if it does get up there, because it's more clear cut then to me. Better opportunity. Because don't forget, you only need 2 trades a day, assuming you lose the first one and you take the second trade. If you win the first one, 2%, that is you done. So therefore, it sort of is conducive to people being more prepared to be more patient and pick the better opportunities for themselves with our Academy 55 indicators. Pick better probabilities. And what we're seeing at the moment is not the best probability because of the fences, the support and resistance, and the sell zones that we are seeing in the way. Got to quell that fear of missing out and come back at a later time. And if because of work and all that sort of stuff, if you can come back at a later time, well, look at it this way: you haven't lost any money, have you? And you gain a little bit of experience. So we're in this sell zone now. So I would be putting my stop loss to there, like I said I would. Well, I would have when I've got to there really, but so let's see what happens. Well, it's a credit to the Academy 55 indicators that it's doing what it's doing. because we're right in the middle of two sell zones. So it could turn around, and we got this big bit of imbalance here now on the 5-minute time frame. So we are here just waiting. And at this juncture, obviously, the next alert up is a sell alert. And I probably would be a lot happier taking a sell than I would a buy because of all the obstacles we're seeing. And even now, yeah, like I say, if it works, I'm very pleased that the Academy 55 strategy has sorted that out. So I'm going to definitely be putting my stop loss to my entry there in recognition of the fact we are in between two sell zones. And get rid of that one now. And we've created a higher high here. So see that support and resistance has been respected many times back at 4:30 this morning. That's why it's there. So you'll be looking at that area there, possibly maybe being supported again. But if they have decided to have a better directional bias, let's look on the 15-minute time frame. We have 15-minute imbalance up here. Could they be going up to get that one, which is good news for this particular trade? Or are they going to respect this area here? But if you had been in this trade, no matter what, you could have raised your stop loss to here to give yourself about well, it would have been about a 0.4%. And indeed, there now you would have been, yeah, nearly 1% if you'd done that stop loss. But it goes for very cautionary trading as far as I'm concerned because of the fact of being in between what we knew then as a sell zone area. It looked like on the 5 minute. Right, let's start a new buy. We've got this large sway of imbalance here on the 5 minute time frame. From there to there is all imbalanced. There's no selling power on that side, and there's no selling power on that side. So that indeed may be come to check out. And if that is the case, if you had have been in the trade and you've been taken out there because your barrel SAR has flipped. So if you had have been in the trade and raised your stop loss to there, and indeed you run the risk now of getting out of the trade for nothing, which is fine. Protected your equity. That's the main thing. But right now, I'm looking to get into a sell because we're in a sell zone after all. So this is the scenario for a sell. It'll be there. Again, though, we caution because we'll be sweeping into the buy zone if that indeed happens. But that's the scenario for the sell. Because we have this big fence here. The volume is running out. Well, we can see that, obviously. Like actually, waves are getting smaller and smaller and going horizontal. So we're going into more either accumulation mode or indeed we will be going for a sell. At the same time, I have seen these things turn around and go back up again. But the main thing to take away from that trade is protecting your equity. So there. So we do get a sell alert. That is waiting for the trend line to turn red, and it's actually mixed with the wave now. And for that to turn red, sell alert. But we still got the same scenario where we haven't got much gap between sell zone and buy zone. I want to see a bigger gap really to give you more of a price to range a bit more than it is. It's being very restrictive in its range. Very tight conditions to trade in. I think that's the best way I can describe this. That's how I feel about it anyway. And different traders have different ways of looking at things. I mean, you could put two traders in a room, show them the same thing, and they'll both come up with different scenarios. But ultimately, it's what each individual is happy with and their own expectations and limitations that counts. Protecting your mindset, protecting your equity. And that's where we are now. If we do get a sell alert, and now we're just entering into the buy zone. So that's if we do get a sell alert, that'll be quite decent in respect that we're still within the range if we do get a sell alert. Because here I'm giving it, oh, right, yeah, sorry, 2 pips is, that's even better then. 2 pip scenarios there, so, okay, so that's good, even better. 2% is now there. 2 pips stop loss, bit of wriggle room. And we're still within, and we got a bit of even got a bit of imbalance down here that probably needs to be mitigated at some point. So that's, yeah, I like that. If that's what happens, we'll have to see. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could still shoot up here. And if it does, fine. Watching and learning in the minute what price is capable of doing or what it can do. So I'm gaining a little bit of experience as far as that's concerned. And at the same time, not losing any money. So that's it's fine by me. Now the closest point to the entry, if we do get a sell alert, would be the wave turning from green to red. The trend line has gone above the wave. Have a look at my MT4. Turn the conditions around. Right, indeed, that's where we are. So we'll stay on that for a little while. Making sure you got your all 1% there and you're ready with your risk to reward in purple, your lot calc in purple. Now we're waiting for the a sell alert. Volume is running out. It's gone 3 o'clock. If we back to your clock face. So the volume ribbon is ready to turn red at any time. Same with the wave. Indeed, the volume ribbon has just turned red. Wave has just turned red. Are we going to bounce and break on this purple line? Maybe. But we haven't got the all-important sell alert yet. But if price comes down here, I'm pretty sure the sell alert will appear. So I've got my finger over the sell. Because if we get a little bit more larger volumes, that could happen now London's open. Obviously the candles will be a bit bigger, and then we could be in a trade within like a few seconds. But I'm giving it 2 pips, well, 2.1 actually. But is it going to break that purple line? Got a little bit of imbalance on this candle here, and then down here. But they're quite happy to spend a bit of time along the purple line, which we see very often. And recognizing we are in a quite a small zone. Now, if you had done that scenario on this buy here, where you put your stop loss to your entry, you would have indeed been taken out for nothing. But if you had followed the parabolic size up, you would have come out with a little bit of something. And indeed, If you kept your stop loss there, you're still obviously in this buy trade. So I guess you'd think that a lot of people following the same trade could have just three or four different outcomes. Which one do you favor? How cautious or not are you as a trader? Depends on the outcome you would have received. If you've been less cautious, you'd still put your stop loss there where it was when you started the trade on this buy here. So therefore, you'd still be in the trade, still waiting for it to possibly go up to get your 2%. If you had been medium cautious like myself, put your stop loss to your entry, and by which time, because of that candle there, you possibly would have been taken out for and protected your equity. But if you'll be optimistic, you could have got out here where you would have taken nearly, well, 0.5%, between 0.5 and 1%, something like that. So there's three different scenarios within the one trade. But your overall statistics that you need to pass a prop firm is, and what we try and do is either keep it in for 2% or lose 1% and carry on. That is the real goal for longevity. But the fight for longevity is determined by your trust in the Academy 55 strategy and system, and two, your length of experience and your own mental inner power, inner belief, and whether whether you are happy with your lot, basically, whether how you feel taking a 1% cut, if indeed that would be the case, or a risk-free cut there, or depends on your own mentality, and everybody's different. But right now, getting back to this is the scenario now. We're deep within a sell zone. But while you guys are watching this, it'll give you a chance to really internally process what you're seeing and try and decide in yourselves what sort of trader you would be. What scenario would you keep your stop loss there and have trust in the Academy 55 strategy that will get you to your 2% eventually? Or do you semi-cautiously put your stop loss to your entry, or do you be more optimistic and put your stop loss as the parabolic stars go up, in which case you would have come out with a little bit of money and maybe waited for another trade. There's no right and wrong. And it's all up to your individual mentality and what you are prone to do. And indeed, I know some days I feel differently to other days. I used to be a lot more gung ho with my trading than I am now. So I would have just put my stop loss there, enter there, and then I would have walked away. And if I was trading in front of you guys, indeed, that's probably what I would have done. Literally walked away, and because, like I keep saying, it doesn't matter what you feel about the trade. Price will do what it's going to do anyway. Doesn't care about your own mentality, what you think. But because I'm sitting in front of you guys, having to watch this trade, in some respects, it sort of plays with my own mentality differently. So don't get me wrong, live trading with you guys has improved my trading because I pay closer attention to the finer detail. But the downside is, like I say, it plays with your mentality because you have to sit there and watch the trade once you've placed it anyway. So in that respect, it's not so good, but it is what it is. And as you can see now, indeed, if I'd have chose the riskiest of the three scenarios and just kept your stop loss where it was, waiting for the 2%, now you would have got your rewards. Because of the directional bias between 8 and 9, which more often than not happens at this time of the day. And now, so what sort of trader are you? Everybody's different. So this is the scenario for a sell if we ever do get one, because we're in the sell zone now. Don't forget. Click over to the 5-minute time frame. We have now got into the sell zone. See that imbalance on that candle there? That has been mitigated by that spike there. And on the 5-minute, there is no imbalances on any of these candles. So there's no reason for it to come down. And indeed, it's just on the 5-minute time frame we are. Here, look, it's just reacted off the higher high at 225, sorry, 220 this morning. That's the highest it's been. It's now there again. But now it's creating all this imbalance here. And we're in a sell zone. but we have found a direction where price wants to go. So indeed, are we indeed creating higher highs than we did over here? Maybe going up to the next sell zone eventually, which is up there. And by doing so, creating a few sell opportunities. So I don't get myself a sell opportunity by the time, well, in the next 9 minutes, basically, the time we've got together. I shall possibly come back later on in the day, maybe when the zones are a bit more apart, maybe when there's a bit more volume, certainly after New York opens. And I will benefit from the experience I've had here at this time of the day, recognizing what price is doing and why it's doing it. But we are now in a sell zone. And as you can see, the buy zone is down here. Let me just point out all these trades are for educational purposes only. Well, what I do is for education, because I haven't had a trade anyway today. They're for all educational purposes only. And for the last 5 minutes that we're on, I'm going to open up the chat just in case anybody's got any questions about what they've seen here today. So if you have got a question, please text it in the chat box and I'll answer them for you. Try to anyway. If not, I'll see you again tomorrow. But we'll stay on for till 9 o'clock. Basically, what I'm saying is I felt that this was far too risky a trade for me to want to take. But with hindsight, as you can see, the Academy 55 strategy did its thing. Steve says, what a bummer. I got in where you couldn't. A stop loss hit. I got in where you couldn't. I don't really. So yeah, presumably you put your stop loss to your entry. And there's nothing like, and if you did that, oh right, yeah. My MT4 wouldn't let me place a trade because I had this turned off, the auto trading, and I didn't realize. Yeah, I understand now, Steve. Yeah. Oh, right, you got in and I didn't. I have to try and remember where I got in then. So hang on, there's buy. So, because of that spike there, I guess. Yes, because you had your stop loss there and you were doing taking out for a few tenths of a pip. Right. Yep, that's it. Basically, this a few tenths of a few tenths of a pip can make all the difference. But so 1% loss for you, Steve. No worries, mate. It's only borrowing money on their part. You'll get it back if you look for the best probabilities and come back maybe later on today. 3/10 of a pip, Steve says. Yeah, well, it only takes 1/10 of a pip. Still out. You're out. Yeah, I know it's more galling when it's only 3/10 of a pip and stuff like that. I know it's happened to me many a time, but that's the reality of trading, unfortunately. But yeah, there we go. Depends how you react and come back when your mentality when you come back and not to let it affect your mentality too much. And maybe by seeing this hindsight thing here that we've done may give you a bit more confidence in the Academy 55 strategy. And also you can see the different scenarios that you could do as a trader. But for the longer term, you have to be more risk adverse and accept the 1% loss. Indeed, if that's what happened, it did in Steve's case. And go for the 2%. Or if you have a live account already and you've got a big live account, if you put your stop loss onto that parallel side there on £100,000 account, that would represent roughly about, oh, maybe 500, $400 or $500. So you'd be happy about that. Anyway, guys, with that being said, there ain't going to be nothing happening within the next minute that I'm on. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks very much for being on and speak to you soon. Cheers for now. Bye.